Did we talk about pictograph? It seems like
We did last semester.
last semester.
Last year.
I don't know, I'm just going by what they have here. What is a pictograph? I just gotta go in the order they give me here. Pictograph, you use what, Michael?
Picture.
Yeah, you kind of come up with some sort of a picture or a symbol to represent things. And you don't want to make them really complicated because you want to be able to draw them. For example, the book gives you that pictograph there. U.S. car and truck production. Which state does the most car and truck production? For Michigan, you'll look on your little graph. They have 1, 2, 3 cars. 1, 2, 3. Do my best to draw the VW Beetle. I could draw a better card than that. Does this mean, if you look at that graph on page, and you should have your book open to page 264, does that mean Michigan only makes 3 cars? So the most important thing, Grace, is you need to,
Look at the key.
yeah, make sure you check the key. Check the key. And then when you look at the key, you will see that one of these lovely automobiles doesn't equal just 1. It is actually worth, well, a lot more than that. It is, Peter, it is a 1 million cars. Now, why do you suppose they don't make each car worth just 1 car? Calvin?
Because you could.
Oh, you could.
Well, yeah.
It would take you a really long time to draw 1 million cars there. In addition to that, it would take you a really long time to count the 1 million cars that somebody drew there. Okay? So each car stands for 1 million, so Michigan does 3 million cars. Now, you're limited a little bit here to that because, you know, what if some state did 2,500,000? Well, what are you going to have to do, Jacob?
Cut the car now.
Yeah, a half a car would be worth 500,000 cars, or a half a million. So you're kind of limited with pictographs as to how exact you can kind of be there, but that's neither here nor there. And then they said to, and I'm going to give you this. I got a little note to hand out so we can draw some graphs here. I love graphs, but nope. Oh, no. What are you talking about, Liz? My famous half bar, half pie, half circle graph here. We're going to do a circle graph. That actually is what we're really talking about. We're starting easy. Problem number 2 asks you to make a bar graph from that pictograph there. So the question I have for you is, how are you going to do that? When you draw a bar graph, what is the first thing you're going to have to figure out? DJ Cassidy?
What is the amount of every?
Yeah, what each of your lines are going to represent or stand for or whatever. So if you look at this one here, I gave you 6 of them. Oh wait, what was? Oh, okay. So that first thing there, first of all, what's going to be the title of our graph? U.S. car and truck production. So write that in the title. Do you think I can find that piece of paper somewhere on my thing? Probably not. What would it be under? Anybody?
Cars.
Maths. I'll bet it's under Saxon. That's who makes the book. I'll bet your course 1. I'll bet it's under investigations. Is this investigation tonight? Congratulations. All right, so we've got this. We've got this thing here. Let's get it one more bigger. So we said the title of this is car and truck production. Now the next thing we have to ask ourselves is, I'm supposed to do a bar graph. I got 2 options. You can draw a bar graph going this way, or you can draw a bar graph going up. Any suggestions as to which way we want to make our bars? And why? Jacob,
Probably
sideways or up?
Oh, sideways.
You want to go sideways? Why sideways?
Because it fits in with the line.
Alright, so let's do our graph sideways, and then that means we're gonna have to draw our own graph lines this way, which means we have to, oops.
You forgot to give me a paper.
Oh, why don't you come get one? Do you have one, Pete? Go send that down. My bad. So what's the highest number we have to show? What's the highest number on our graph? How many million? 5 million. What's the smallest one? So we need to cut this into how many pieces probably? 5 pieces, and each line be 1 million. So what's our label for the bottom gonna be? Number of cars in what? What are we gonna measure in? Probably millions, right? And then you're going to draw, you should use a ruler as best you can. We need to cut this, maybe we'll make this 6 million right here. This is 0, so I need to make, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equally spaced lines here? Let's just do it like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this would be 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, 5 million, 6 million. What's this side gonna be over here? What's left there? Christine?
The ones, like what do you call it?
States?
Yeah, the states.
So we've got the states, and what are our states? We got Michigan, and I would maybe skip one every time. Here's Michigan, Ohio. What do we got? Kentucky, Missouri. Uh-oh, I ran out of room. And the last one is, other? Hello, anybody? I don't like these Samsung phones.
Answer.
You know why? Because you shut the volume off.
Yeah, it still bugs. That's what it does.
Same thing.
Well, it's because the volume, the off button is opposite of the power button, so when you push the off button, you actually have to push the volume button that turns it back on. Alright, so there's our little graph. Let's actually graph it up here. What do we got here? How many in Michigan? 3 million, so you're gonna color Michigan out here to 3. How many in Ohio? 2 million, so you'll color yours to 2. Oh, sorry, that's gonna be bad. Color it to 2. How many in Kentucky? 1. How many in, what's the next one? Missouri, 1, and all the rest of the car count is 5. Need one more space there. That's enough of that. I wanted more to go talk about the circle graphs over there. Look at page 265 there. Because we are going to figure out how to exactly draw a pie graph. Look at that. Tell me that ain't nice. Here we go. When do you use the pie/circle graph? I think we talked about this before. Why not use when's the difference between using a pie graph and a bar graph? Pie graphs always do what, Calvin? Show percentages or parts of a whole. Okay, parts of a whole. And this pie graph that we're going to draw is what? What's that little chart showing there? Oh, it's the same thing. We're doing the cars and truck thing. Okay, all trucks made in the US, all cars in the United States of America, in the States. Okay? So the first thing we have to understand is this: how many degrees are in a circle? It's a tough one. Jacob? 360. Because we're going to take those 360 degrees and split them up into parts. All of our angles, all of our pi pieces all together are going to be add up to 360. And the first thing the book talks about is this: when you have a pi graph, it's cut into pi pieces. These pi pieces are called what? Does anybody know what these pi pieces are called? It's close. Sounds like slice, but it's not. It is. Nope. It's a sector. Okay. So you're looking. What? Don't draw anything on yours yet, because we haven't done that. Just laying the foundation here, kids. That's my fault. Okay. And we already know. Okay. We already know this part here. Let's just look at this. We know that a quarter of a circle. This sector right here, if it forms a right angle, how many degrees is that, Michael?
90.
So this is 90 degrees. You know, if you cut another quarter, this would be 90 degrees. If you had a straight line up and down here, this would be 90 degrees, and that would be 90 degrees. You can cut a circle into 4 90-degree sectors, okay? And each one of these is what fraction? 90 degrees is 1/4 of a circle, right? Now, let me see if you can make this deductive leap here. If I were to cut each quarter in half, if I were to take this quarter and cut it in half like this, how big is each piece? If you take a quarter and cut it in half, no. It's 1/8 of a pi piece, which Michael says is how many degrees?
45.
Right, 45 degrees. If it's a 45-degree sector, that is 1/8 of the circle. Okay? If you cut an eighth in half again, you get 1/16, and that would be 22.5 degrees, but that's neither here nor there. Now, let's look at, and I'm going to switch here because I need a fresh graph here. Let's look at this. Let's look at the information that we have here. It's too big. It's never too big. That is one massive circle right there. Okay, now, first of all, we got to figure out what fraction of each of the pieces. First of all, what pieces do we have? We have Michigan is going to be a piece. Ohio. What were my Missouri? What was the other one? Other, and there's one more. Kentucky? Okay. All of these added together have to equal the whole circle. Okay? That's just part of being the circle graph there. So, how many total million cars, if you add up all the cars, how many total millions are there, Peter? Okay, so every one of these has to be a fraction of 12 million. For example, Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, was what? How many were Michigan? 3, correct? So Michigan is 3 out of the 12 million, which is what fraction reduced? 1/4. And we just figured out 1/4 is how many degrees? So I need a 90-degree sector that shows Michigan, because Michigan makes up 1/4, and we don't draw it yet because we're going to show you how to do that with your protractors here. Ohio is what? How many cars in Ohio? How many million cars? 2 million, which is what? 1/6. Now, how many degrees is 1/6? That I don't know, but you can figure it out because you know a whole circle is 360 degrees. If you take 360, divide it by 6, how many degrees would each piece? 1/6 is how many degrees? 60 degrees. So Ohio has to be 60 degrees. Wasn't there another 1/6 out there? Wasn't there another one that had 2? No, I guess there wasn't. we're not gonna do that. Alright, and then what, these two are 1/12? How would you figure out what 1/12 is as a percent, or as a degree? Take 360, divide it by 12, what do you get? Anybody? Who said that? Who said it? Grace? So each one of these are 30 degrees. And then what's left? The other states. How much was the others? So I need to figure out what 5/12 is. Anybody know what 5/12 is? Now, would you really need to know what 5/12 is? No, because 5/12 will be what? What's ever left after you put all the rest on there. Now we could figure it out because we could take 12 into 360. We know that 1/12 was 30 degrees. If 1/12 is 30 degrees, 5 of those would be 5/12 is 150 degrees. So you know the other states is 150 degrees. Now the real question is, how do we go about making our sectors on our thing here? So have your protractors out, because here we go. If you don't have a protractor, look in those drawers. There might be one. And I'm pretty sure I told you many times to always have your protractor with you. Make it quick. If you don't have one, then you'll have to find somebody to sit next to that you can share with. Otherwise, sit down then. Step number 1. Step number 1, children, is you always start off with one line. So find what you think is very close to the center of the circle, and not freehand, but with your protractor. It doesn't matter where. Just draw a straight line from that point to the outside of the circle. It doesn't matter what direction you go. Just make from the middle to the outside. Okay. You don't put an arrow on it because you don't use it. Got that? Now we've already done this part before. I want Michigan, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so you are just going to use this ray, put your protractor on it. Okay, right here, this little thing goes in the center. You lay it just like we did before. You need to mark 90 degrees, which is going to be a right angle right there. And then connect your dots. We've already done drawing angles before. And then once you get that sector, you can label it as Michigan. Again, you've already done drawing these angles. If you don't remember how, come on, I will show you again how to do it. But yours need to be exact right angles. You already know how to draw angles. Very nice, very nice, very nice. These aren't freehand lines. Some of these are. Now let's just for fun do Ohio next. Ohio is 60 degrees. So you have to use this ray right here, or you could use this one, but let's use this one. Put your protractor using this as a side. Put your little dot there, line up the line here, make a mark for 60 degrees, which is probably about like this, and connect that with this. And that would be your Ohio. So off of the line you've already got, you make a 60-degree mark, and bam, 60 degrees gets written as Ohio. That doesn't come out 30 degrees. And then you can probably figure out where we're going next. Let's go ahead and do Missouri and Kentucky next, which are two 30-degree angles. So off of this line, you have to measure a 30-degree angle, which is half of your 160. It gets labeled as either Missouri or Kentucky. And then another 30-degree angle, which would be Kentucky. And then whatever's left, if you measure, this should be 150 degrees. And that is the other. And yours should look something like that. Generally speaking, we use some colors and do something decolorous. That would be lovely sort of things there. And then when all is said and done, everybody's looks very nice.
Mine is so
You're missing something there. Ohio, you know, 30. Nice. Ohio should be twice as big as either Missouri or Kentucky. We don't have it on the whole thing here. Yeah. There we go. If you did it right, and I goofed up a little bit, if you did it right, when you add Michigan, Ohio, and Missouri together, this should have been half of the circle right here. Mine was a little off. And then another version you can use right there.
Nope.
Not too bad. Alright. Still got your blank piece of paper out?
Yeah.